gosh. What happened here?
Everything's gone. Is this some sort of theft? Some sort of strange accident? Or could it be
that everything's gone on purpose? We're back in the old storage unit. My friends, we have been here many times together. If you've been watching for a long time,
especially back in the vlog days when I used to vlog on a regular basis, just hanging out, you will remember many storage vlogs.
My whole life I lived in tiny little apartments, and then finally, after being married for a while, I moved into a rented house. It was my dream come true, but then the nightmare began. The divorce, I moved back in with my parents, and I got this storage unit here.
Because I had like a 10 by 10 room. There was no space for anything. And slowly over the years, as people have sent me stuff and different things like that, this place is really filled up.
There was somewhere to go, when I just had that little room at my parents' house. I needed to get some things off my chest. At least I could come down here and hopefully be alone. Look how creepy it is down here in the basement.
Hang out with you guys, have some chats. Oh, no wonder it's so dark in here. I still have my sunglasses on.
We've seen creatures down here. Sometimes maybe ghosts.
We've laughed, we've cried together. It's just hitting me now, actually, how many times we had together down here.
Which is why I knew I had to come here first today and give you guys the news that sadly this right here will be the last.
Not the penultimate, but the ultimate, the final storage vlog. You see, right here in good old 1898, this is no mistake, this clean out here. This is all on purpose. All that's left are some books here and an old wooden ship built during the Civil War era, I believe. And once this stuff is loaded into the car, this door will shut for the final time, and that will be that. It's a momentous day for some of us.
6 years after getting this storage container, people still sometimes ask me,
when are you gonna have another storage vlog? Well, here we are having one. And my friends, it is the last one. I know you may be feeling sad. I'm feeling a little weird about it now as I stand in here myself, but it is not a sad thing.
Oh no, in fact, this marks the beginning of some very momentous changes,
which we'll get to in a second. But first, I gotta grab these books and get them out of here.
Whew, you may have noticed me limping there a little.
And I am actually in agonizing and a somewhat terrible pain, but we'll talk about that later. First, the books.
All right, there we go.
Whew, we got the shelf now, and let's check all the nooks and crannies. Oh, look at this.
There's a poster I did for a movie a couple years ago. I didn't know I still had this.
And dang, dude. That's it. Nothing lasts forever. All things must pass. And now, here we go.
Closing the door for the last time.
That's weird.
I was about to lock it, and then I realized I don't need to lock it anymore.
This thing has done its duty. And now it'll be someone else's. Weird.
All right, let's get out of here.
Here we go. Last time on the elevator. I'm sorry if this is boring for some of you who never experienced the old storage vlog. It's a little bit of a moment, I promise. The big news will come in a second. Oh, I'm all linty.
Oh, man.
All right, well, that is one major thing off my list today, but there are others. Oh, I am so sweaty. It is one of those days where it is 90 degrees and one of those rare humid days in Southern California. This is so weird. I just went in the office and terminated my contract here. It's also strange, man. This is a strange farewell tour of sorts, my friends. I had nothing when I got that place. My entire life was quite literally falling apart. And I know it seems silly, but literally just having that storage unit just made me feel like a person. Like, okay, I've got someplace. And it took 2 years, 2 very long, very eventful years of sweat and blood and tears and chaos before I finally had another place of my own.
The apartment.
Hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Where's all my stuff?
Well, guys, as you may have already guessed, we are moving away. This is on purpose too. Boy, it's weird how echoey it is in here now. It all happened quickly and at the last minute. Actually, I have this apartment for another month because of that. This place has been too small for a long time. Not just because we have the online store.randomland.com, by the way. And so all the merchandise was stacked up in here, but people had sent me stuff that was crammed into every corner. When we moved in, my child was very small and quickly grew very large and mannish. And when we moved in here, there was so much stuff that I planned on doing, so many different types of videos and stuff filming at home, but it became so cluttered and crowded and cramped. Not to mention having a neighbor who moved in upstairs who is chaotically loud. That especially during the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that stuff, it was like, dude, we have got to go. We've got to get out of here. I couldn't do the Patreon podcast because there was always noise 24 hours a day. Had a little bit of an altercation with the upstairs neighbor after 3 days of not sleeping once from all the noise. And I mean, it's cool now, but even they're moving actually. While we were in Oregon filming the Goonies stuff and all that stuff, we had an opportunity to come look at a new place. We raced all the way back down here, 16-hour drive, closed the deal on a new place, and ever since I have done nothing but box stuff up, move stuff, back and forth. You guys may remember that I have a pretty bad back, a pretty significant back injury that has yet to be surgery-ified. They're gonna be waiting on that still for some reason. But anyway, so I had to pace myself with the move, and it was all okay until Spoopy Tyler's dog, man, one day when he was helping me move, barked at me. I forgot he was there, and I lurched out of the way, and I sprained my hip, of all things. So that is why I'm in horrible agonizing pain. It's not the arms or the neck or the normal back injury. I sprained I didn't even know you could do that. Anyway, it all happened in fits and starts. Meanwhile, my car was in the shop having its transmission rebuilt, and it was just anarchy. And so instead of doing what I would normally have done, which is like, all right, well, I'll show you guys everything we're doing, it all happened so fast and it's been so chaotic. Plus, there's that whole election thing. I heard that's kind of a big deal. And so it was like, okay, let's just get as much done as we possibly can. And look at this. What you're seeing here is just all the weird dregs of stuff. We pretty much now have everything moved over, except for, what you see here and some random stuff in the bedrooms. Everything that we need to live is moved over there, and now it's all being unpacked. Finally, the cameras and the battery chargers were found today, because it was chaos, And good thing, it was good timing in a way, because now I've got this crazy injury. So thankfully, all the big stuff is moved. As you can see, it's just crazy what's left. It all happened in a big rush. Still a lot of London stuff in his room, still a lot of just random stuff in the bedroom, stuff that was in closets, stuff that didn't fit in normal sized boxes, like these lightsabers. Thank goodness Tyler, Baker Girl Steph, a few people helped us move at least all of the big stuff, and just in the nick of time, because this hurts now. This is painful, this weird leg thing. But not as painful as what I just did, which was to pay the last month's rent here for an apartment that's gonna be empty for a whole month. The good news is that it gives me a lot of time to get to get this corn packed up here. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit on the ground. Yeah. Oh, I forgot how moving can be so stressful. It's supposed to be right after marriage and death or something, death of a loved one. It's supposed to be the most stressful thing. Well, it's pure joy to move out of here because we were pretty much done, let me tell you, with that. So that part hasn't been stressful. Usually there's a lot of stress in leaving a place and the memories and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we have that overlapping month, so maybe I'll get nostalgic later. But the big thing was coming up with deposit money and, first and last rent for a new place and the rent for this. I mean, it was just that kind of stuff. And then finding out when we moved, whenever you move, you're like, oh no, we need to buy 100 million things. Anyway, not very interesting, filming just a bunch of moving boxes and sticking stuff in the Mustang and borrowed people's cars and trucks to move things over and blank echoey rooms. But today I'm finally ready to show you guys the new place. First, I just had to come and pay the rent here, look around, grab a few things, like my laptop charger that's been missing this whole time, and some extension cords, things like that. And then we'll be able to head over. Man, there was a lot of stuff that people send me stuff from all over the place. I have all these weird collectibles and toys that either get sent to me or that I've had. I'm like, oh yeah, we should show that, but there was never a way to film in here. It was either so loud in the neighborhood or the neighbors, or I didn't want to be loud for the neighbors. It
it just never worked out the way I thought it would in here. So there were never any vlogs, in addition to the normal Random Land Adventures episodes. I would never change that. But now that we have the new place, hopefully the Patreon podcast will now also be able to have video. I mean, a bunch of different stuff and different kinds of stuff that we'll be able to do. I'm very excited about it. I guess there's no reason to talk about it here. We're gonna have to head across town. But I wanna say first, it took 2 years to get into here. And then working as mightily as I could, and with quite a lot of help, it still took another 4 years to get out of here. 6 years ago, 7 years ago now, when I was going through that divorce and moving out of the first house I ever lived in back into a small room in my parents' house, I thought, man, my life is completely over. I had no future. I had no job skills. I had no education to recommend me. Videos were happening, but that was sort of a deal to keep my sanity, keep myself busy. And I met a lot of you wonderful people through doing that. I found that I was able to make other people smile, make other people happy, share my struggles, and connect with other people. And even though it didn't make me any money, it was worth doing because I was making other people happy. I was making myself happy somehow in the process. And then that slowly, thanks to all of you, turned into a job. So as much as the last, I don't know, 6 months or 8 months or however long it's been since the whole shutdown stuff happened, as much as the last couple months in here have been excruciatingly miserable in a lot of different ways, I do have a lot of good memories in here. And a lot of times with you guys in here also, and I never would have been able to live here or to take care of Allie or to take care of my child or to do all these adventures and have all these times with you if it weren't for you guys watching. And so I just want to say, if you hear me say anything negative about the last couple months living in here, it does not take away from how grateful that I have been here to go on adventures with you guys, to share thoughts and feelings with you guys, to connect with you, to ship you sick hats and pins and have New Year's Eve here with you guys and all kinds of fun stuff. But there's even more fun stuff and even more more gooder stuff coming. I would not move if it was not going to be a step up and if it didn't mean even more stuff is coming. So as you can see, chaos, still a lot of work to do. This is not our final farewell to this apartment. Unfortunately, it's still a lot to do, and I probably should paint that wall back white, at least a little bit, you know, just to help the maintenance guys here. Oh, they're home, they're coming home. We better leave before the techno music starts. Yeah, it's all very weird and very exciting and very cool, but enough of this empty, strange, pseudo-depressing spot. I'm just gonna grab the most important thing here, this Tony sachets. I need that. And then we're gonna head out of here, out of Orange, to our new home. Now, a lot of people have asked and speculated, are you moving to Florida? I think they're just asking that because maybe Magic Kingdom is open and Disneyland isn't, and maybe they thought that because over the years I've said, oh, if I could afford it, and this is still true, if I could afford it, because I usually spend so much time in Florida every year, I would totally get an apartment over there or something like that. But no, we're not moving to Florida. No, we're not moving to Texas or Tennessee or out of state. For better or for worse, I was born here in the state of California, and for now, in the state of California, I will remain. But we are moving out of the city of Orange and back to the west a little bit. Crazy. One day, after my kid is 18, it'll be fun to move somewhere else for a year or two and you know, do all that kind of stuff, but I'm still stuck here in the state of California for at least 4 more years. So, never you mind and never you fear, my friends. All right, I know I'm kind of teasing you because you keep thinking that we're going to leave. It's not on purpose, it's just because I'm like, okay, is there anything else I'm gonna need tonight? Anything else I'm gonna need today? I don't think so. I think it's just like the power strips and the laptop chargers, and look at this mess. Look at this chaos. And then we'll talk a little bit more about all this at the new place. I won't give you a full tour of the new place yet because it's just as chaotic, well, 10,000 times more chaotic than this, but we'll check some of it out, talk a little bit more about it. I wasn't gonna film anything. I mean, once I was in for a penny, I thought, oh, I'm in for a pound. I'll wait until everything's all set up over there. But there's been some uncertainty in the country lately with some other things going on, and I figured, you know, since it's getting weird out there and people are stressing, I might as well give you all an update and a little distraction and show you what I've been distracted with this whole weekend. My box is done. I've done my duty here. The It's weird to say this while I'm in my living room. It's time to go home and talk some more.
By the time you guys actually see this, I believe we will be fully moved out of here, which is wild. Let's get out of here.
Now, if you've known me for any length of time, or you've been watching for any length of time, you'll know that two things I am crazy about are theming and art, projects, creativity, stuff like that. And this new place has got a lot of room for that. That is what I am the most excited about.
We're gonna have tiki time.
And garage project making, creativity time,
Fireside chat time. Fireside cat time.
Oh, and best of all, friends, finally, there is space for the online store stuff, so all those orders will resume very shortly. If you've been waiting for one, never fear. Now you know what the holdup was.
And
Finally, a Random Land HQ. Look at that, the giant TV has started to break from the old house. It was a mighty housewarming gift from a friend from before. Still sort of works, which is why I held on to it.
but ignoring that for the moment, look at this. Soon the podcast shall be here. The Patreon podcast shall resume, perhaps.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. There'll be more stuff to announce. I have moved many cabinets and books and researched things and camera pieces. There's still a lot to do, a lot to unpack, a lot to set up. Hello, Willy Wonka, you little creeper over there. But we've made a start. I have moved a bazillion boxes and sprained a hip, which I didn't know was possible. Good thing that only means I'm approaching middle age, right? If I rolled, I would have broken the hip. Oh boy.
And the reason all of this was such a crazy rush with no time to explain
Is because I do actually have to be back on the road in just a few days. By the time you see this, I'll be driving hundreds and hundreds of miles away again. Finally, I will be able to show you guys many things that have laid hidden that people have sent me, cool stuff going on everywhere. We have the space to show and display and talk about things we have never got a chance to talk about before. I'm exhausted, I'm sweaty, I'm breaking out, I'm sore, but I am extremely excited. Almost nothing in this whole place is in its permanent state yet. I mean, these cabinets will probably be here. I gotta switch all the doors around so they face the correct ways, but there'll be a bunch of stuff up here. There's so much to do, so much to unpack. Obviously, the first thing was the store, and oh my gosh, that reminds me. Speaking of sick merch, there is some new sick merch available. The coolest t-shirt so far. You all know how much I love pirates and a good pirate adventure. Well, check this out. If only these had come a couple of weeks earlier, but oh well. That's my mom's favorite piece, and this over here is my favorite piece of sick merch we have thus far ever made. Dude, I am so stoked on these tees. It took a while for the cats to get comfortable, but I think they're okay now. Frankenstein here is loving this basket. They're loving all the space to run around. There's no dog barking upstairs to scare them. And look at this. Because we have the Random Land HQ room, that means all this stays nice and clean for Allie. The next time we come back in here, hopefully enough stuff will be done. We'll give you a proper tour, and it'll look more like it's gonna look. This room's kind of the closest, right? But I am stoked. We'll finally have the proper amount of room to keep the merch orders flowing out, and we have room in the garage to try building projects. You can laugh as I fail at building furniture and other things. We can have Thanksgiving dinner together. Look at that. That's actually my grandma's magazine from 1955. Crazy. And most importantly, we finally have the room for special guests in here. The pitfalls, the possibilities, the promise, and the peril. I am so excited. All we were looking at was apartments that just had one more room in them. Just a one more bedroom bigger apartment, so we would have room for the store stuff, and it would be all stacked to the ceiling, literally, in our living room. And we were looking around, couldn't find a place. Went all the way up to Oregon, and somehow my mom, through talking to a realtor about rental places, we didn't buy it. It's Southern California. Who can buy?
we came up on this sweet bargain for the same price. Actually, a little bit less than our same old apartment, but with one extra tiny 10 by 10 room just to put the merch in.
Somehow, and I still cannot believe this, I'm still sort of like, my mind is spinning. Somehow, we moved into this house. The bedrooms are tiny, but the rest of the house has just enough room for all the crazy things I've been wanting to do with you guys for years. Project number 1, we're gonna have to finish setting up Random Land HQ. The store is almost operational again. Project number 2, put batteries back in the Kit Kat clock. Project number 3, and keep in mind these aren't in order because who knows when I'll have the funds and all that kind of stuff, but project number 3, tiki hut, something I've wanted to do for years and years, and plant a few more jungly plants back here. And then of course there's the garage. A lot of you guys don't know this. I actually started building some stuff like these little miniature buildings at the old house during quarantine, you know? And I was doing it all in the living room on like TV trays with like some clamps and a saw. I'm like sawing in the living room, all inappropriate. And not that I'm a very handyman, craftsman-y type of guy, but I didn't want to show it anyways because there was no room and I was doing it all wrong, and you shouldn't be using saws in your living room, so I didn't want to set a bad example. But now there shall be room for projects. You guys can watch me succeed or watch me fail at trying my hand at different things. Firstly though, in here, I've got to figure out what to do about the rats. I heard there's nothing you can do. They're coming after you! There was this weird green, like rolled up carpet on top of one of these doors left here in the rafters, like some funky old 70s, like a rug or something that's all bound up with twine. So I had this little broom and I'm like poking it forever. Poking it. Nothing happened. But I'm edging it off the door, you know, slowly to fall down here on the floor. As it's falling, a rat flies through the air, jumps out of it, flies through the air past my head. I, of course, scream, doing another little dodge that also hurt the old hipperoo. And he took off running into this pile of stuff. Great. So who knows? You may remember my tiki nook. This, by the way, is all my storage. Look at all this stuff. Dude, I got so much cool stuff. Look at this right here. From the old Paradise Pier at DCA. I got some Barn Man stuff from Route 66. And you may remember my old tiki nook. It's all packed in here, all the old tiki stuff from that old room that I used to live in. And look who's back. My good friend, my old roommate, Sushi, the pufferfish. Still glowing, still active, cannot wait to get into a tiki hut over in the corner of the yard. And then, of course, my good friend Spike, the ultimate tiki guy, made me this years ago. Oh boy, that's heavy, that's heavy. It's never had anywhere to be displayed or a home, and I cannot wait. You guys. Oh, that's going to be exciting. Of course, it's not really a priority once you've had to spend a jillion dollars to move. Lots of dollars. Well, but we didn't have our wedding in October, which is what we were going to do. That's what was going to happen this month, or this past month. We were going to be married, but of course, COVID has pushed that back another year because Allie, of course, enjoys fall weddings. That was her dream, and that's what she'll have. October, specifically wedding, you know. So between basically spending our entire wedding budget and a little small loan from some others, we were able to get in here with the weird overlapping month on the last apartment. And now, my friends, I'd say another, you know, week or two of setting stuff up and moving a lot of stuff around all day that's boring and sweaty. But now, my friends, once that is complete, we'll be grinding it out. All I've been dreaming of for the entire quarantine time was just the space to think and the room to work and to get crazy with all of y'all. And now it's going down. So we will be back. I will give you a much more full, much more understandable, less chaotic, because I'm still reeling, tour of the place. And actually, as I unpack and have to repack and reorganize many of the weird treasures that I've had over the years stockpiled in the storage, I'll finally be able to share some of that with you guys and put stuff on display in the HQ. And then if there's stuff I have to get rid of, the online store is back. It's a lot. There's just a lot going on. There's probably a lot more that I could say, should say, and there's definitely a lot more that I would say if my brain worked properly, but we have been moving for more than a week, just constantly moving, cleaning. There was a lot of painting to do. There's still more painting to do. I don't think anyone had actually lived here for a long time, so there was lots of cleanup to do, lots of crazy stuff. So I apologize for the completely atypical amount of time that we were sort of incommunicado. But we're back. We are back home to do well. That's another thing that happened. We lost Sir Sean. But he will always live on in our hearts. And of course, we will think of him every time we do our duty and go home to sleep well. I'm really thinking I need to pick up some Duralogs find myself a bubble pipe. Anyone know where to get a good bubble pipe these days? Finished doing the laundry and the dishes, which I think you might be able to hear humming along in the background. And then, of course, starting tomorrow, we start shipping out all the crazy orders that have backed up over the week of moving. So if you have an order out there, don't worry, it's coming. And by the time you see this, hopefully, and if not, only shortly thereafter, these sweet pirate t-shirts, the rich stuff, the sweetest, sickest merch of them all shall be at store.randomland.com. All right, I have to go to Lowe's. I have to make dinner for London, who's back there somewhere doing who knows what. I gotta get Willy Wonka out of here, unpack a lot of boxes, move a bunch of stuff before it rains here in Southern California, and pack all of the gear to go back to another state. In addition to finishing folding, counting all the sick new shirts so that Allie will be able to keep sending out all the merchandise, there is a lot going on. We've had a lot of help. We've had a lot of friends over here. There's been people here all day, you know, safe people. But anyway, it's all down to me now. I'm all by myself and the boys, so we got a lot more stuff to do before I can safely say that for today I've done my duty and I can come back home and sleep well. Thank you for hanging out with me on this very unusual adventure. Not our normal thing. Not sure whether this is a vlog or not. And you know what? Now that we have a new home, maybe there'll be a new form of video coming, a new, more vloggy type in addition to our normal episodes. Who knows? I have a lot of plans and a lot of thoughts, but also a lot of work to finish before I do that. And so does Allie. Look at all that. Look at all these boxes. What you doing? You making it? Oh.
I'm making you a shirt.
Yeah, she's got to do some homework. She's making me a shirt. That'll be sweet because this one's really sweaty. All right, the official tour will be next time. I'll show you some treasures. We'll do whatever. Well, not next video, but next time we're back here. And I'll see you all very soon, very shortly, very far away from here. And for now, you guys have done your duty. You can go home and sleep well. Mika! Mika! Wake up, Mika! Mika! You gotta unpack your cat treats! You gotta unpack your kitty treats! Are we in your personal space? Are we in your personal space, Frankie? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.